back to the channel and another build video. So today we're going to be doing the Fanhome Toyota Supra from Fast and Furious, continuing the build, and today we'll be working specifically on the front end section of the car with the brake disc, the wishbones and the front end assembly. So then we should start to see kind of the size of the kit and the chassis kind of coming together. So it should be quite an exciting part of the build and a little bit easier than the engine components that were super fiddly. So let's get building. So guys, for stage 15 we are going to start building the front left suspension. So we're going to take 15H, which is this section here, and we're going to put this into 15L, which I think is this section here. Let's just double check, yes. So we're going to put the front shock through here and leaving this beveled edge or this hollowed edge, and then we're going to slide this assembly, 15H now, through the spring into 15G, which I think is probably the bottom of the shock. What we're going to do is take a screw and just pop a screw in here. So yeah, so there's a screw hole on the inner shaft that goes in. You just need to align that with the hole here, and we can pop a QM screw in there, which is these tiny ones. So we'll do that. Oh, these are absolutely minute. So for that, I'll probably go with quite a sharp screwdriver. Tiny little screwdriver for that one. And get that in there. Like so, without moving the part too much. So I can keep that alignment for the hole that I found. Quite stiff, I would say. Doesn't really want to go in, so I might double check that. Okay, so it's in because this is not coming out, but it doesn't look fully into me. I'm not really happy with how that screw's gone in, to be honest. So I'm gonna take that out and redo that. Right, so I backed that screw out because I wasn't really happy with how it was going in. And I think actually what I need to do is, when I'm putting this screw in, I need to apply a little bit of force to make sure that the shaft is fully sort of not in the way, like the head of the shaft. So I'm going to put a little bit of force into the shock as I do the screw up. So you do need to do that, guys, just so that it will hold, basically. Bit of a weird setup though, to be honest, because the more force you put into it, that screw in theory could just pop out. So a bit of a strange one, I would say. But as long as it holds, we're good. Cool. So moving forward with that, we're now going to take, we're going to attach the bottom of the front left shock onto 15B, which is, let's have a little look what section that is. That is, I think, this section here. Yes, oh no, this one, sorry. So you can't really tell from the orientation. Very hard to see what orientation it goes in, to be honest, guys. I think it goes this way, like so. Like that. With the screw facing towards me, to be honest. Yeah, with a few screw facing towards me. So goes like this and goes through that larger hole, I think. So for that, we're going to use a DM screw. So let me just find one of those. So this is quite a long screw, this one. And this has got a thicker head, so I use a larger screwdriver for that. So let me just pop that in. These are quite nice parts, actually, guys. They are kind of matte black anodized, well, powder coated rather. Quite nice parts, actually. So I'll tighten this up, but there's still movement in it, which there should be. And I've still got compression on the suspension. And I was worried about this this screw popping out, but to be honest, it's in that shaft, so it shouldn't pop out. So that's that so far. Then what we want to do for 15.5, we want to fit the first of the suspension silent blocks, 15Q, which is this, into this assembly, into the control arm. and secure it with a JM screw. So JM are these ones. Again, another long screw. So let's take one of those. And what orientation does this go in? I think, and also what hole? I think it goes in this lower hole here, like so, I believe. Looking at the image. Yes. So I'll pop this screw in. Oh, if I could get it in. So we'll just pop this in like so. And once you tighten this up, there's a lot less movement in that, but it is still movable. So I don't know if it should be static or have any movement. So I'll leave it for now. There's a tiny bit of clearance still to do it up with. 15.6, we want to take 15F and another AM screw. So let me get my screw first. We want to take 15F, which is this section. So some sort of support, front left stabilizer link. And we want to screw that into the lower part of this control arm. So here. So guys, for 15.6, we're going to align the larger hole on this support arm with the lower support here. And screw this in. So the plastic sits above the alloy on that one. Got a few little scratches there, but shouldn't be too bad. Depending on the orientation of this part, I might turn that around, to be honest. Depends what way it's going to fit in the car. But obviously, to be fair, you probably won't even see it. So moving on, we will look at 15.7. So 15.7, we want to take 15A. And this is our left steering knuckle. And we want to attach this to the brake plate. So if we get the orientation correct on that, and this, we should get some alignment on these holes here. There we go, like so. And we need 2 QM screws for this one. So let me find them, these ones, tiny little ones, absolutely minute. So again, sharp screwdriver for these, I would suggest. The only issue with the sharp screwdrivers is you don't really get much leverage on the screw because the screwdrivers are so sharp and small. There we go. Cool, so it should look something like that. 15.7 to 15.8, we're going to remove the adhesive backing from the disc, which is here. The easiest way I find of doing this personally is with a knife, craft knife. So let's just do that. Again, be really careful with your fingers anytime you use a craft knife. They're super, super sharp, but super, super helpful. So take that off, and then we're going to stick this onto the part of 15K on the inner side, I think, which feels a bit strange to me. So what holes do we need to line up? Align the pins and the holes on the front left brake disc parts 1 and 2. You'll find there is only one correct way, and push the parts together. So let's try and get this aligned. You've got almost aligning, but not quite. That does align that way. I don't know. So that aligns and that aligns, but that doesn't. This is a bit of a strange one, guys, to be honest. See, I've got alignment of this screw hole and that screw hole and the other holes, but the pins don't align. So I don't know if that is correct or not. Let's go with it. Let's stick it on that way and go with it. I'm going to stick it on that way and see if that works for me. Oh, just shuffle it over slightly, like so. I'm going to see if that works for me. Bit of a strange part, to be honest. You know, why there's so much adhesive on it when actually the contact patch is minimal, absolutely minimal. So then we're going to move on and 15.9, and we're going to attach 15N. Insert the 3 pins on the front left wheel hub, 15N, these 3 pins, into the disc. Place the washer 15P over, which is this part, and then an NM screw to affix all of it. That's MM, NM is this one. So let's get that ready. And then in theory, these should... Trying to see where these go though, because I've got many holes. Very strange assembly, I would say, guys, on this one, if I'm honest. Like, why there's so many holes, I don't really know. So it doesn't go that way. Could not go that way. Doesn't go that way. Does fit that way. Let's try and fit it that way. Don't know if that is correct. It doesn't want to seat properly here on this side for some reason. I don't really know why. It's a bit frustrating really, guys, for such an expensive kit to be not fitting correctly is pretty ridiculous, to be honest. I'm not 100% on that, so let me just back that out. I'm going to back out with my fingers because obviously I don't want to scratch the brake disc. Now, I don't know why. Doesn't seem to want to fully go in. On this side, for some reason. Okay, so again, I'm going to back it back out because now I know exactly what side it doesn't want to go in. It's this top one here. It was this one. So maybe I haven't got it correct on its direction. Let me just double check. Yeah, I don't have it correct. So there's 3 holes. It obviously goes that way. Okay, maybe not obviously. Well, I would assume that you want these 3 to line up, right? And what I would say, and what it should have said in the previous section, is you need all of the holes to be able to go all the way through to line it up. However, when I try and line this up, I can't get 3 alignments. From what I can see, unless it's that way. Yes, it's this way. There we go. There we go, like that. So, to get the proper alignment on this, what it should have said is that you need 3 clear holes that go all the way through the brake disc. And there we go. So the pins align and the brake discs align, which means that now when I apply this, I should be able to push it all the way through, in theory, if I get it in the hole. Don't think I've put it in the right way there. So 1, 2 and 3, let's just check that. There we go, perfect. So now it actually fits properly. Awesome. And then, as I said, we take a 15p and NM screw, and we will just screw this in on the front side, I think, into our previous section. Then what we'll do is we'll take the 15p and the NM screw, we'll screw it in to our previously assembled brake disc cover assembly. There we go, like so, and that is 15.9 completed. Alright guys, so continuing on with 15.10 now. We are now going to position the front left brake caliper, which is this plastic part here, into 15A. And let's have a quick look at the orientation. I would say it goes this way. It looks like it goes inside to me. Yeah, looks like it goes inside. I'm gonna need 2 CP screws for that, so let me just grab those. Got a spare one here as well. And again, I'm just gonna flick it over and double check. Yes, that looks correct to me. Looks like it goes under. Yeah, under and in, like so. So I'll just put those screws in now. That's one. And then the other one. There we go. Cool. Just going to do that up so it's not wobbly at all. I've got a good bit of stability there. Perfect. Right, so that's 15.10 done. So 15.11 we're going to use the upper control arm shaft, which is 15E, this part, and we're going to stick it in 15C, which is the front left upper control arm. And I'm just going to see what way this goes in. It's quite stiff, to be honest, the way it goes in. And I just want to check what side the indentation should be facing upwards. Yes. Okay, so this is really stiff because they're both kind of powder coated, but it should be something like this. Bit of a shame that it got scratched here, but never mind. So it's facing upwards, and you can see here it's got top, so you should know what way is the top. And for this to affix, we need 2 MM screws. So let's get those. Oh, we've got loads. So these again are the ones with the kind of washers on the end, just to hold it in place. So we'll screw 2 of these in here just to stop it coming off. I'm going to hold it with my fingers because I don't want to scratch the rod. Although what I could do is probably put a screw through that other bit or something straight and then hold it in place with that. What I mean there is I could put something absolutely tiny through here. I could hold that bar in place without scratching it, which is probably what I'll do now. Yeah, so it's just about being resourceful, guys, in terms of how you do this. So I'm going to try and do these screws all the way up if I can, just so that I don't get much wobble on the part. There we go. So there's a little bit of movement, which I'll probably get rid of, to be honest. Well, I think it's actually intended to move, to be honest, guys, because I've done it up as tight as it wants to go, and it's still got a bit of movement in it, so that's fine. We'll keep it like that for now. 1512, we are going to again note the top writing on the part, come around, and we're going to fit 15Q, which is the same as the other part, through here. And for that, we're going to use a JM screw. So let me just find that. It's one of these long ones. Pop that through. And we are going the other way. Let me check. Oh no, sorry. So top here, and we'll go screw that way. I can get the screw on the screwdriver. Keeps wanting to fall off because it's so long. Let me get it through first. Oh. Bit tricky to get this one in, to be honest. Just because the screw is so long, that's all. Oh. Just checking that it's going to go straight, that's all. I want it to be as straight as possible, obviously, to line up with the other side, not cause me any problems. So I think with this one, it's almost one of those. You might find it easier with a flathead screwdriver, to be honest. There we go, I'm through now, and I'm in the middle. And then we'll just pop through the other side. Super, super long, this screw, so it'll take me a few seconds. Bear with me. Right, I'm into the other side. I'm just trying to check the alignment of the part. As I said, super, super stiff. There we go, cool. So I'm in there, I've still got a bit of movement. I'm fully in, but I've got a bit of movement on the part, which I think is to be expected. And that's it for 1512. So 1513, we are going to attach this onto our previous assembly, which is 15A, with the following orientation. So it's going to go on this top bit here, and top is towards me. So it looks like it goes that way, top towards me. So the screw for that will be an MM screw. So let me grab one of those. Again, one of the ones with the washer. Take my wide screwdriver. Check the orientation again. Pop that on the top. And there we have it. So it's all tight, it's all secure, and looks like so. You've got a top there. And then 1514, we are going to pass the shock absorber through the front left upper control arm, like so. And insert the lower pivot through 15B, like so. And then attach them, I think. And that will be that for this section, I believe. Not sure what we're doing with this, whether this is a sway bar connecting rod or something. But what screw do I need for that? I need an MM screw for that, so let me just grab one of those. So let's just pop an MM screw in there, like so. And there we have it. So that is our final assembly view on stage 15 for the left side wheel and suspension setup. Right guys, so for stage 16 we are going to do the tyre for the right front wheel. So again, I've double checked the tread pattern and I've heated the tyre up. So for this stage we're going to pop the outer, this section, 16B, through the outer edge of the tyre, like so. so that we can see that the tread pattern matches up, which it does, which is perfect. And then we're going to join this up with 16D, which is your inner edge. And again, I'm probably going to try and match the tyre markings up in terms of where it says Yokohama and things like that. But of course, that will depend on the two right-hand wheels will need to be matched and two left-hand wheels. So it doesn't really matter because these are the two front wheels, but still. Let's try and line this inner edge up with our outer edge, which is easier said than done. Quite difficult. Okay, I've got that now, which is good. Not too worried about the tyres, to be honest, actually, because you can't really read them. Okay, cool. So the next stage there is going to be pop 16C in to the wheel. Just double check because I'm sure last time we screwed. Oh, okay, we screwed it all in at once. It's been quite a while since we did the wheel, so I've kind of forgotten what sequence we did it in. So if I pop that up the top like so, we should be able to screw it all in at the same time, in theory. So what I will do is I'll take one of my ABM screws and pop it through. So that we can start to marry these parts up. So I'll put one through the bottom and get that in to this section just to start pulling it all together, that's all. Because once you get one in and two in, it makes it so much easier. Start getting the other ones in. Okay, I can't get that one in. I'll take this out. Take that back out and then I'll put it back in. Try and get a better fitment. There we go. So that should be bang on. So that's bang on now. And then when we try to align the front section, we should have a much easier time getting it in. So through the back rim, through the front rim, into the outer rim. And it's working now, it's starting to put it in. But what I will do is I'll work my way around the wheel and pull them all in evenly. Just so that I'm not overly stressing any particular part of the assembly. This screwdriver is not particularly magnetic, to be honest. It's not super helpful for me. See the rims coming in quite nicely now. Two more bolts left and then we're done. What I need here is my small magnetic one, to be honest. And then the last one now. There we go. So then I think I've got one other to tighten up and then we're good. We're in for this rim now. In fact, I'll just work my way around. This one's really quite loose, this one, so I'm just going to do this one up. And then this one. And that's it for that section. So the next thing that I do want to do is I want to flip the wheel over. Just double check that it all looks aligned and as it should be. And then I want to pop in the front section, which is this section. Just double check the part on that. That is 16E. Just pop that into the front of the wheel there, just to close off this assembly section. I'm just checking if it says to put it in. It doesn't actually say to put it in, so I won't put it in for now because I probably need to access these screw holes, to be fair. And that's it for 16. So we'll move on to 17. So guys, for stage number 17, we are going to start building the front right suspension. So literally the same as the front left that we've done. So we should just be able to kind of rinse and repeat this. So I'll leave that over there for context. And then we can crack on. So 17.1, we will take our shock. 17H, we'll pop that through 17L. And then we pop that into, we pop the spring, 17J through there. And then we join this up with 17G, absolutely the same as what we did on the other one. This feels a bit stiffer though on this one. Doesn't really want to go in. So what I'll do, I'll get the screw ready for this. So this takes a QM screw. So let me just grab one of those. There we go. Pop one of those in there. And again, same as what I did on the last one, I'm just going to put a little bit of pressure behind it so that I can get that screw in and it will hold like so. And I probably need a different screwdriver, to be honest. So I'll use a slightly bigger one. That should have held that in, so that's not good. Let's just back that out. Okay, that was not the best one. Back that out slightly. They don't really line up too well, these, to be honest. What I might do actually, I might bevel that hole out a tiny amount if I can. Just because there's a little bit of metal in there. So I can't really get the screw in. There we go. That's just a tool for beveling normally Lexan bodies for RC cars, but obviously you can use it for whatever you want. So that fits a lot better now. So now I'll try and get that screw back in. Which is not the easiest, to be honest, absolutely minute. I think we've got it. Yeah, we've got it. There we go. Awesome. So that's in. Just want to check that I've got some compression, which I have, which is good. These are super, super stiff springs, guys. So that just tells me that the kit's going to be really, really quite heavy, but that's okay. All good. So then moving on from there, what else have we got? We've got to fit the silent block onto the arm now, or the lower control arm. So for that, we fitted it, trying to see where we fitted it last time. We fitted it through this section here, didn't we? So we're going to fit 17Q through here, and we're going to use a JM screw this way to attach that. So these were the really long ones. So let me grab one of those. And then we can put that through. Get that attached. Oh. In fact, I'm going to start using my magnetic one. There we go, just get a bit of traction on that. These do feel like quite good quality parts though, I would say, to be honest, so that's nice. You know, because these kits, they're not cheap. So, so that's good. Doesn't seem to be wanting to go in this screw for some reason. It's a JM, which I've used. I'm going the right way. Doesn't want to go in there. There we go, I've got it now. It's just a little bit stiff it was. On these metal to metal ones, you could use an electric screwdriver really in theory, I guess, guys, but up to you. Right, so that's in. 17.4, we're going to attach the bottom of the shock absorber onto the body, onto the right lower control arm. So that is the bottom. And I'm just checking what way the screw is facing. So I think we've spun the part round now and the screw is facing towards the head of the component. Yeah, similar to the other one, the screw's facing towards me at that point. And the screw for that will be a DM screw. So we'll grab one of those, if I can find them. These ones. So we'll pop one of these through. Okay. From the front. There we go, so that went in nice and easily. There we go, cool. So we've got that in now, guys. So the next stage on this part would be to attach the larger hole on the front right stabilizer link. So again, that will be, to be honest, hard to tell what one's the larger hole, but I think it's this bottom one here, slightly larger. And we'll do that using an AM screw. So if I find that, is that AM? Yes, this one's AM. And this attaches to this hole here. But again, it goes on top. Last time I put it underneath, so this time it goes on top. And it goes in here. Just get a little bit of purchase on that. And there we have it. It's gone in quite nicely, same as on the other side. Awesome. So 17.6, we are going to take 17A, which is the steering knuckle. And the orientation that we want it in is like so. We are then going to attach this piece on here, which is the, I think, the brake disc cover, like so. And we need two small screws here, which are QM screws. These ones, tiny little ones. So fix that cover on. These are absolutely minute. So I'm just going to pop them in, then I'll do them up in a second. There we go, so that's done up. Oh. So 17.6, 17.7 we want to start attaching the brake disc together. So again, same as what we did on the other side, we're going to take the film off on here. So again, best way I know of doing this is with a craft knife. There we go, I've got that off. Now, what we want to do on this one is we want to align it properly with the holes on the brake disc plate, or the inner disc. So if we look at this, we should see that there's clearly two. Well, let's put the triangle upside down, and then let's try and align it on this one. I think we've got that accurate now. Let's double check. I think it should be something like this. There we go, like that. So that's how we should have done it the first time. So you've got all the pins in alignment and you've got all of the holes in alignment ready for the pins on the cover there to go through on the wheel hub. Cool, so once we've got that together, we'll take the wheel hub, we'll align the 3 pins, so again, upside down triangles, and then we'll push that through gently. Have I got that the right way? I don't know if I got that right. I didn't get that right. 2 seconds. Just pull that off. I think it was a little bit misaligned. Ah, it's this way. There we go. Like so. And there we have it. That is our second brake disc. Really nice discs actually. You can kind of see how they're vented here as well. Give the illusion of being vented, which is really quite nice, and they're very shiny. So yeah, pretty high quality discs, better than I've seen on some of the other kind of 8 scale kits. So that's quite nice from Diecast. So then we move on. So the next step, which is 17.9, we want to join our hub onto our brake disc. So to do that, we want 17P, which is this little tiny plastic piece here, and an NM screw. So let me find an NM screw, which is this one. Which again has got a kind of washer on it. I'm going to pop the screw through that, and then the hub, the brake disc is going to go onto the hub like so, and then we can screw it in like so. And I think at the moment I'm doing these brake discs up all the way because I don't think the wheels are intended to spin, obviously. It's just a display piece, so I'm doing them up all the way at the moment. So there we have it. So 17.10, we want to put the caliper over this part. So for that, again, same as what we did on the other side, you want to take it, slot it behind, and then it goes in to these little holes so that you get proper alignment on it, like so. And again, for that, CP screws, which are these ones. If I could ever open these little tiny bags. And we will pop 2 of those in. So if I can try and hold this in place. So that's 1 in. Get the other one in and then we'll do them up. There we go. Just put it all together like so. And there we have it. Got our caliper on there. Right, 17.11, we want to take our upper control arm. And again, this has got top on it as well. So really, really helpful. We'll spin it around so the top is away from me. And then we will pop our silent block through. And we're going to pop the JM screw through, but towards me. So let's do that. I can get one out. There we go. And what I'll do is obviously spin the part around so that I can screw away from myself. Yep. So the bolt is going in, or the screw is going in on the side that actually says top. Just make sure you get it the right way. Otherwise, I guess potentially it could cause kind of clearance issues or something like that in a later issue. Just trying to get this into the middle part now. If I can. There we go. So we're in the middle part now, which is the easier part. And then we're in the other side now, which is tough. There we go, cool. So we've got that done now. So the next step here is to put, again, 17E through and then attach this. And again, I think this is going to be facing upwards towards the top. So we'll push this through like so, same as what we did on the other side. What I did on the other side just to hold it was to put a small flathead screwdriver, trying to find it, this one, through one of these holes to hold that bar in place while we do it up. So I need screws for this. So let's pop the screws in first of all. In fact, I'll just hold it from the get-go. There we go. Same on the other side. Just pop the screw on the screwdriver. If you're struggling for sound quality here, guys, I have got a microphone on the way. I've got a DJI microphone on the way, so the sound quality should dramatically improve once I get that. At the moment, I'm just using the audio on the phone. So just to give you a heads up. Right, so there we go. Got that all assembled, which looks good. And then the next step is to attach this to our assembly, our disc and our shroud and everything like that. So for this, I need an screw, which I think I've already used somewhere. Yep, here. And I'm just going to pop that through the top to affix these two sections together, but I do want to check the orientation, so it looks like it goes that way to me. And in terms of this, top should be, again, towards me, that way. So you can see that all your screws are going through the front, same as what they did on the other side. Yeah, and then we'll pop that through the top just to attach that section together, and then we can move on. There we go, perfect. Right, and then the final stage for this stage of 17 is to attach these two pieces together. So to do that, we flip this assembly over, and we've got this lower kind of connecting rod here. And what we want to do is take our lower wishbone and spin this around, I think. So I'm looking at the back of it. And let's just double check this against the other one. Yeah, it just goes through the bottom, I think. Past the shock absorber, through the inside of the front insert, which was this one, and then that goes over the top there, I think. Like so. Super tight fit that actually, which is probably a good thing. And then if we look at this from the front view, it looks the same. If we look from the back view, it looks the same. So yeah, I think we're good, guys. We've got everything where it needs to be. I just need to pop a little screw in here, which was an screw, which I thought I got out. Which I did, but I've lost. What did I do with that screw? I will grab another one and be back with you. Right, I found one. So here we go. We'll just screw in the bottom of this. You don't really need to worry about getting these parts confused because of the fact that Fanhome have put on them left and right somewhere. There we go. On the lower wishbone, you've got R, and then you've got L on the other one. So you won't really get them confused. So I won't worry too much. All good. And that's us done for 17. Right guys, so for stage 18 we're going to start assembling the front frame and the cross member. So for this we're going to position the front suspension lower protection plate, which is 18B, onto 18A, like so. I think it goes on the furthest forward section like that, which it does, it appears to anyway. This is really quite a heavy alloy part, this 18A, which is quite nice. And then we're going to put 2 IM screws in that. So let me pop 2 in there. And they are going to go in just to affix this plastic onto the alloy part. So I'll pop one in and then I'll do it up gradually. There we go. Don't quite know what that does, suspension protection plate, but we will see. Just going to tighten it up, I don't want it to be loose. There we go, so nice and tight. And then what I want to do is retrieve the front left suspension unit assembled in 15, so that is this. And don't forget, we've still got this spare part, yet to see what that does, but I'm keeping the left with the left and the right with the right, just for ease of use later. So I think it looks to me as if we flip this over and maybe even around, but let me double check. So it looks to me like it goes like that in this image. Yep, looks like it goes that way to me, because you've got these longer arms here. And then what we do is we attach the left hand side onto this assembly here. So it looks like we're going to take this upper control arm rod and pop it through this kind of sleeve that's ready to receive it, which would mean that this lower control arm probably goes in here. Yeah, like so. Doesn't say that yet, but that's going to be the next step. So the top one's going to go in here, I'm going to screw it in now, and then the bottom one goes in there like so. So you can see that. So let's pop the screws in for the top one, which might be a bit awkward because the shock feels like it's in the way. And these are IM screws for that one. So let me try and get these in. Oh. Get a little bit of thread and then I'll do them up as I go. A little bit hard to see what you're doing because it's black on black, but I will persist. So I'm going to do that up all the way down, but I'm not going to over tighten it because I want these components to be strong, you know. I don't want to strip the thread. Okay, cool, so that's 18.2. 18.3 is going to be to secure the lower left control arm with a BM screw. So that's these screws. So let's do that. And again, we are going, let's just check what direction we're driving this from. So we're actually driving this from the other side, which is interesting. So it doesn't tell you, you just really need to pay attention to the images. Just try and get this in the right place, which again is hard because they're powder coated, they're very tight. There we go. Put the screw in there. We're doing this one again from the other side, so from the front with the sway bar connecting rod exposed. Like so. Exciting, guys. Now we've got our first piece of assembly together. Awesome. So we'll spin it back around. So we're looking at the back again, I presume. And then we will attach the right hand side front right suspension unit, and let's just check. So yeah, we've got these wishbones coming towards me now, so this is going to go through the bottom, which is really tight on this side, and then through the top. Let's get the top one in first with the countersunk part at the top, like so. And then because the bottom doesn't align, there we go. So I've got the bottom in, but I won't screw that in yet. So I'll take 2 IM screws again for the top, screw those in. awesome. It's really coming together now, guys, which is good to see. You know, we'd spent so long doing the engine. It's nice to see some of the core components coming together. Then I'll take a BM screw. And I'm guessing the next one is to flip it back around, so we're looking at the front again. Let me check. Oh, okay, I was already looking at that direction, to be fair. So let's get this in the right position and put this screw in. Note you are only screwing in on one side on this occasion, so you're only screwing in on this side where the sway bar rod connectors are, and not on the back side, but there is a hole, so I guess we attach something there later from the looks of it. And that is it for 18, guys. Right, guys, so for stage 19, we're going to start assembling the front suspension cross member. So we're going to take 19A and 19D. Now 19D slots below 19A, and we'll pop the screw through the support or the cross member, and then we can start screwing that part in, like so. There we go. And then for 19.2, we're going to do the same on the other side, again with a BM screw, and that is to support 19E. So let's do that on the other side, like so. A little bit tricky to hold them in place. Well, this one really wants to move. A bit annoying. There we go. These will affix to further parts, so it shouldn't be too bad if you do have a little bit of movement. And that's it. So we're then going to retrieve the cross member that we've assembled in previous sections, spin it around so that the sway bars are facing me, and then we're going to attach this section here. So in terms of alignment, it looks to be switched, actually, looks to be that way, with this this U shape on the left-hand side, which is the right-hand side of the car. And in terms of fixing it in, we are going to put 2 screws on this side, which is the left. Just check the left is the left and the right is the right. You can actually already see where it goes. Look, it goes here, like so. And then your wishbones should just drop into there as well, nice and easily. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to screw these ones in first though. So it just needs a little shimmy across. This will be BM screws in all of these. So let's do that. This is going to be a really weighty car, to be honest, guys. It's really getting heavy now. But I don't mind that, you know, for the money. That's just indicative of some good quality, which is good. That's what we expect. So we're happy with that. Right, so that is nice and done up. So is that. Tighten this one, and that's it. Cool, so we just got to do the other side and check what hole that goes to. I think it goes to this little hole here, the flush one, rather than the raised one, which is ready for receiving another part. There we go. Perfect. Right, so 19.4, we want to spin it to this orientation, and we want to use 2 LM screws to secure the front left lower control arm, 15B and 17B, into this cross member. So that basically means, as I said before, the lower wishbone has got these rear arms, and these need to slot in here. So that is really quite stiff on that side. Let's try and get one of them in. There you go, this one's quite easy. So LM screw into there. So we'll get this side in first. Super long screws, guys, on these, but all good. Again, just going to give the car loads of strength. There we go, so we're in on that one, which is all good. And then what we're going to do is the same on the other side, but on this one, I don't seem to have as much movement with it. Seems to be really tight on this side for some reason. There we go. We are now in. I might just stick a screwdriver in there. Actually, I need something even smaller, just to pull it out ever so slightly. I think with the powder coating, as I said before, it's just super tight tolerances. I think on this one, I just want to take a flathead screwdriver and just push it out ever so slightly. Like that. And that's perfect. Pop the screw in. Should be able to drive that through and get the alignment that I want on that part. But we will very shortly find out if that is going to work. Nope. Let's have a little look. So it just wants to go up ever so slightly, I think. I need an even smaller screwdriver for this. It only needs to go up like, there you go, literally 2 millimeters or something. But as I said before, where they're all powder coated, it's really, really, really tight fit. So just take your time, be careful with it. Obviously you want these components to go together seamlessly, because you want the kind of structural rigidity in the kit. So yeah, don't rush, don't break anything. Just take your time, I would say, and encourage on this. God, this one's really stiff. Might use a bigger screwdriver actually, because I don't want to strip the screw. This one might be too extreme. But I want to get the most leverage I can, right? There we go, it's much better. And again, I just need to be careful with the other components. There we go, much easier with this larger screwdriver. Perfect, there we go. So we're in and I am happy. 1 and 2. Cool, so moving on. We are going to turn the assembly over so that we're looking at the, I think the inner section of the car now. And we are going to use a BM screw to further secure the right cross member connecting piece 19E to 18A. So I think what that means is, I'm trying to see what hole that goes in, to be honest, because all of these, that's just a straight through hole, this one. Double check which hole that is. So we're on the right side, I think, here, but it's telling me to put a screw in here, but I don't see how that's going to further support. Oh, it is. Okay, fine, because this section is separate to this section. So we've just got to pop a little screw in there, which is a BM screw, one of these. I was struggling because I couldn't see where that part was separate. To be honest, it all looked like one piece to me. Even though I do have 2 studio lights in here, it is still quite hard to see. sometimes the parts and the alignment. There we go, so just in there. That's it for 19.5. Right, so 19.6, we are going to attach the left lower arm bracket 19B, which I think is this one. And again, these are directional, so it's got L and R onto the assembly. So let's just check. Left is left. So actually we're, left, but we're upside down, I think, at this point, which is a bit awkward because we've got these kind of suspensions just hanging there. Right, so what do we want to do? We want to take the left arm, which is this one, and we want to attach it in here. So I think it's going to go something. Right, so attach the cross member 18A and then 19B. So I think it wants to go, just trying to figure out the orientation here really, guys. Does it go somewhere over there? Let's have a look what it looks like on the next screen. Okay, not too helpful, you can't really see where it goes. Okay, so it makes much more sense looking at the picture on 19.7 than it does looking at the picture on 19.6. So 19.6 is almost useless as a picture, I would argue. So this side goes in here and that goes under there like that. So how I'm going to get that in, I don't know. So let me pop this under. I might get this one in first and then I'll go from there. So this one is going to take a BM screw. So let's put a BM screw in there and then we'll go from there. I've got no idea how I'm going to get the other one in because it feels like a very awkward angle to me. So let's spin it on its side, pop it through. Hopefully you can see this on the camera okay. I'm just going to get a bit of purchase on this, but I'm not going to do it up all the way because I want a bit of flexibility on the part to see how I'm going to do this up. So I have to do it up at an angle, but it's not ideal, as you can see. You know, I can't really get to that. So I would say it's a bit silly, if I'm honest. And that's going to be a DM screw, which is this longer one, which is going to be fun to try and get that in. So what I might do on that one, I might get a bit of oil. As I've said in some previous videos, guys, I'm using this 3-in-1 oil. And just pop a bit of that in trusty shot glass so that I can get that attached a bit easier than I otherwise would have. So I'll drive it in with one of my thin screwdrivers, which might be a bit difficult. But I'm hoping that the oil will help me on this occasion. So I'll thread that through, hopefully you can see that. And again, this is going in that hole that I thought was weird that we left open and didn't put a screw in. And as predicted, the oil helped me massively on this occasion, just to drive that home, like so. Right, so the next stage is to do the same on the other side, the next step rather. So on this one, again, we want to place it under on the right hand side and use a, I think it was a BM screw on this one to affix on the bottom of the support, like this. There we go, like so. And then I think it was a DM screw on the other one. So on this one, I'm definitely going to put oil on, like so. And we'll thread it through and in. That's really quite an awkward angle, guys. Like, not the best design, I would say, from Fanhome on that one. But it goes in, so I can't complain too much. There we go. Awesome. So, there we have it. We have got our arms in. I don't know if... yeah, they're still movable, which is good. Obviously, I don't need them too loose because obviously the weight the car's going to hold it and the suspension's really strong, but I want a little bit of movement in them. And that's it for this assembly stage 19. So I'll give you a close-up view of that just so you can see it. And there we have it. We move on. So guys, for stage number 20, we are going to be building the chassis front side members. So these are alloy, really quite substantial parts. They feel really nice, to be honest. So let's jump into it. So 21, we are going to take, actually, this part, 20B, which is the filter, and we're going to connect the hoses. These hoses are both the same length, so it doesn't really matter what one you put on what connector. So I'm just going to go from left to right, push fit these on. Again, I always try and do these by hand if I can, just so that I don't ruin the tubing. But this one is quite difficult, to be honest. There we go, that one's on. Then we'll put the other one on. Just check they're not knotted or anything like that. Not the easiest things to deal with. These are often actually the worst part, to be honest with you. Getting these on. Sometimes they're so tight you need to heat them up, but these days they're generally a bit better. So there we go. As I said, they're both 50 centimeters long. Then for 22, we want to take this cross member, and there's a little groove on this side. And we want to pop this part down there and affix it with a IM screw. So let me just grab one of those and drive one of those in to keep this in place. Like so. There we go. So it should look something like that. So, moving on, we want to retrieve our previously assembled section, so the front of the car now, and I'm just going to double check the orientation. So I think we're going this way, and this is going to be the front left side member, right? So yeah, we've got an L here and we've got this in the right orientation. So just always double check that before you screw it all together. So for this part, we are going to lay it up, just double checking where it's going to go. Okay, I've got it the wrong way around. It's going this way. And you can see here, you can just match all of the holes up basically, guys, like so. So it should sit on top of this support here, and it's shaped even to sort of contour to it, so you shouldn't really be able to get that too wrong, hopefully. And then we want to flip it over and we want to drive 3 BM screws in to this assembly. So to do that, it's going to be a little bit difficult. I'm just wondering what we're going to use to hold it. I will probably use some of my stands just to hold it a little bit. If I can, just like that. And then we're going to use BM screws for this. Oh. So that's a BM screw and that's a BM screw. You can tell because they're thicker. Right, and then we're just going to drive those in to the bottom here and get those parts affixed together. I'm going to do this evenly though. I'm not going to do one up much tighter than the others at this stage anyway. And again for this I'm not using oil because I don't think I need to on this part. Should be quite straightforward to go together. And then I'll probably use my longer screwdriver just to get a bit of leverage on these and make sure they are tight. Like so. There we go. So you got 1, 2, 3. Now for 25, I think we are going to flip the part over, or are we going to pop these two in? Let's double check. No, we're going to keep it upside down and we're going to pop 2 more screws in BM. So this is either side of this cross member here. So for those, again, I'll just try and support it while I get the screws. BM screws again. I don't know if I'll get, yeah, I will get a large screwdriver in there, which is good. And pop another one in on this side. There we go. So we've now got 5 screws holding it in, and it is affixed quite firmly now, which is good. Perfect. So then we're going to start on the other side, I believe. So we're going to take 20C and 20D, and let's just double check how this part goes in. So it looks like it just push fits into this section here. Just checking the orientation. Right, so the orientation should be like this, and this should just push fit in. But again, really hard to see what way it should go, to be honest. And it can go whatever way it wants, so that's not very helpful. Okay, it looks to me as if it goes with this little edge facing that way. So to me, looks like it goes that way, but it doesn't want to go in that hole. Super tight fit in that hole, guys. So let's push that in. Oh, really, really tight fit. So I don't know what that part is, 20C. Sorry, 20D. That's the horn. Really, really tight fit to the point that it doesn't really fit, if I'm honest. You can see that I can't get it all the way up to the edge, but for now that will do. And then we're going to position the chassis front right side on the right side of the front suspension. So in terms of orientation, let's just double check. So we're going to go, we're going that way. Let's have a little look. Yeah, it looks like we're going that way and then that way. So same as what we did on the other side. Like so. And then we'll flip it over. And I'm guessing BM screws on there as well. But let's just double check that. How many have we got? 3 BM screws on there as well. Let's do that. These are kind of countersunk, so you can kind of clearly see where it goes in. I've got 2 holes left at the front for later attachments. And I'm going to hold this because I think it will be easier to get it in. A little bit fiddly here, guys, to be honest. often when you build these kits, there's nothing really nice to support it with, because you've got obviously all the parts hanging out everywhere, and hard to know how to hold it, how to support it when you're doing it up, really, but that is the nature of the beast. There we go, 1, 2 and 3 on there. And then I guess we need to put the other 2 bolts in. Further back, yes, which is 2 more BM screws. We'll do that as well. Perfect. Right, now what we want to do is turn the assembly over, and as you can see, we've got our exposed upper wishbone rods. So that is where these covers come in from our previous stages. Now, let me see, I think they go like this, but I will just double check. I don't know if they're directional, left and right. I don't see anything on there. I think they're probably the same, although I'm not sure about that. And we need to obviously fit them on there with some IM screws. Okay, they're not the same because the other one did not fit and this one does fit. And then we'll pop the other one on the other side. So it just goes over the rod basically and then screws in to the chassis. Yeah, so they are directional, to be honest. So you need to get them on the right side. Then we'll just pop 2 little IM screws in there to secure them. And then we're happy that that is secure. Oh. Screws are very, very small. There we go, and one more. And there we have it. So that is our last bolt for this assembly stage, I believe. So there we have it. We've got our subframe, we've got our front end assembly, we've got all our brake discs and our shrouds and our suspension. So it's really coming together now, which is awesome. And that is it for this pack. Obviously we've got our engine, but I'll do a roundup in a sec. So guys, there we have it for stages 15 through to 20. We've got our front end assembly now looking really, really good. We've got some piping that's coming in there as well. Really, really nice brake discs, which I'm really happy about. So it's really starting to come together. When we couple that with the engine and the transmission, I'm not yet sure which way they're going to sit in the car. I would imagine this way. But yeah, really starting to come together now. So really, really happy with the build series so far. So yeah, that's it for today. And then we'll push forward into the next few stages. As I said before, I do have quite a lot of builds going on now. So if you are enjoying the content, please like, share and subscribe. I am on TikTok and also on Instagram, as well as YouTube. So yeah, just check out some of the other build videos, like and comment. If there's anything else you guys want to see on the channel, let me know. I am quite passionate about RC as well, so I've got RC planes, I've got RC cars, so if that's something you want to see, then hit me up and let me know in the comments. And also I've got a lot of Lego, to be honest, and plastic kits to build, so let me know if you guys want to see any of that, and I can try and sort of incorporate that into the channel content as well. So I'll see you soon.